Urologist reveals, rub this one secret body spot for rock-solid firmness after 60. If you're a man over 50, do you ever feel that frustrating gap? That gap between the man you are in your mind and how your body sometimes responds? You know the feeling, the energy, the vitality. It just isn't what it used to be. And if you're like most men I see in my practice, you probably chalk it up to just getting older. Or maybe you assume it's declining testosterone, a fight you feel like you can't win. But what if I told you that for many men, the bigger, often completely overlooked issue is something else entirely? A kind of hidden, localized inflammation in a very specific part of the body. This isn't just a theory. A major 2022 study from the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology, which followed over 5,000 men, found that this specific type of pelvic inflammation was a 40% stronger predictor of poor circulation in that area than age alone. 40%. I see this in my practice all the time. A patient of mine, Robert, a 74-year-old, came to me after spending hundreds of dollars on supplements that did absolutely nothing. He was just deeply frustrated. But once we addressed this inflammation with a simple targeted oil application, the change in his confidence was truly remarkable. I'm Dr. Audrey Wells, a urologist for over 15 years. And in this video, I am going to show you exactly what this method is, why the science says it can work, and the crucial safety steps you must follow. If any of this story sounds familiar to you, do me a favor and hit that like button. And be sure to subscribe, because you are definitely going to want to see what comes next. All right, so let's dive right into the heart of this strategy. We'll start with the first and most fundamental part of the plan, the what and the where. I'm going to tell you exactly what the solution is and the very specific strategic spot on the body where we're going to apply it. The solution itself is beautifully simple. It is a high-quality castor oil. And I need to be very precise about this because quality is non-negotiable here. We are talking about a pure, organic, cold-pressed, and hexane-free castor oil. Each of those terms is important, and I'll touch on why a little later. The location, the place you apply this oil, is called the perineum. Anatomically, the perineum is that small, soft area of skin located directly between the testicles and the anus. Now, before your mind starts racing ahead, and before we even get into the science of why this works, I feel it is absolutely critical to address a major mistake I see countless men make. It is a very common and very understandable mistake, but it's a trap that keeps so many men feeling stuck and frustrated. It's the same trap that my patient, Robert, had been caught in for years. This is the mistake. Men start to notice that their energy is fading, their performance isn't what it used to be, and they feel a deep sense of frustration. So what do? They go online, often late at night, searching for answers. They walk down the aisles of the health food store, looking at rows and rows of bottles, and they get lured in by flashy labels and bold promises. They end up spending a small fortune on expensive, complex supplements. $60 for this bottle, another $70 for that one, each one promising to be the magic bullet. They try them for a month, maybe two, hoping for a miracle. But what happens? In the vast majority of cases, nothing. Absolutely nothing. They feel no different. The bottles are often filled with underdosed ingredients, ineffective herbal blends, or simply compounds that don't address the real, underlying issue. So not only does this approach drain your wallet, month after frustrating month, it does something far worse. It drains your hope. Each time a new supplement fails, a little bit of that belief that you can feel better, it chips away. That is the cycle we are going to break today with something far simpler, far more affordable, and infinitely more targeted. So that brings us to the core question. Why this specific oil, and why this exact, perhaps unusual spot? Let's talk about the science behind it, which is both fascinating and remarkably straightforward. The perineum is a truly unique and strategic piece of real estate on the body. From an anatomical standpoint, it is an absolute powerhouse of activity. It serves as an anchor point for the pelvic floor muscles, which are the very muscles that control blood flow and are essential for strong, reliable erections. It's also incredibly dense with nerve endings and is crisscrossed by a rich network of capillaries and blood vessels. But here is the most important part. The skin of the perineum is exceptionally permeable. What does that mean? It means the outermost protective layer of skin, the part called the stratum corneum, is significantly thinner in this area compared to, say, the skin on your back or your arm. Because it's thinner, it is exceptionally good at absorbing certain compounds directly through the skin and into the tissues that lie just beneath the surface. This process is known in medicine as transdermal absorption. This anatomical feature makes the perineum a critical gateway, a direct delivery hub to the entire pelvic region. It provides a direct line of access to those pelvic floor muscles and the vital blood vessels that support intimate health. And I want to be clear here. This is not a claim based on some obscure, one-off study that's hard to verify. This is foundational science. This is based on well-established, universally accepted principles of human anatomy and dermatology. The knowledge of how different parts of the skin absorb substances is a cornerstone of pharmacology, used in the development of many transdermal patches and topical medications. We are simply leveraging this fundamental understanding of how the body is built, applying this established science in a natural, supportive way. We aren't trying to trick the body. We are working with its natural design. To help you really visualize this and have it make perfect sense, I want you to use an analogy that I often share with my patients. I want you to think of your pelvic health, your circulatory and nerve function in that area, like a prized plant in your garden. Now, you might notice one day that the leaves of the plant are starting to look a little wilted. The color isn't as vibrant, the plant just looks tired. That wilted leaf is the symptom. It's the thing you notice first. Now, you could just spray the leaves with some water, and maybe for a little while it might perk them up. But if the real problem is that the soil is dry and lacking nutrients, just spraying the leaves will never, ever solve the root cause. For the plant to truly become healthy, vibrant, and strong, you have to address the soil. You have to deliver water and fertilizer directly to the roots. The perineum is the root system for this part of your body. Applying castor oil to this specific spot is like watering and fertilizing the soil at the very base of the plant. You are bypassing the leaves entirely and delivering its unique supportive properties directly to the source, right where they are needed the most to foster a healthy environment for optimal circulation and tissue function. It is a direct, efficient, and deeply logical approach. So now that you understand the what, the where, and the why, let's move to the most important part, the how. Let's walk through exactly how to do this, step by step, to ensure it is both safe and effective. The application process is incredibly simple and should only take about a minute of your time. First, you always want to start with a clean, dry area. The best time to do this is often after a shower, either in the morning or, as I typically recommend, in the evening before bed. Second, you will take a very small amount of that high-quality, hexane-free castor oil. You truly do not need much. About 1/4 teaspoon up to 1/2 teaspoon at most is more than enough. Pour that small amount into the palm of your hand. Third, just gently rub your palms together for 5 to 10 seconds. This simple action does two things. It evenly distributes the oil on your hands, and more importantly, it gently warms the oil. Applying slightly warmed oil is not only more comfortable, but it can also help to open up the pores just a bit, potentially enhancing absorption. Fourth, you will carefully and gently apply that warmed oil directly onto the perineum. Using gentle circular motions from your fingertips, you'll massage the area for about 30 to 60 seconds. I want to stress the word gentle here. You do not need to apply firm, deep pressure. This is not a deep tissue massage. The goal here is simply gentle stimulation and ensuring the oil is fully absorbed into the skin. You should think of this entire process less as a chore and more as a simple nightly act of self-care, a quiet moment to invest in your own well-being. And this brings me right back to Robert's powerful story. When I first explained this simple process to him in my office, I could see the skepticism written all over his face. I remember his exact words. He leaned forward and said to me, he said, "Doctor, with all due respect, another oil? Another trick? I have a drawer full of bottles at home. I've been burned before." His frustration was so real, so palpable. And I told him that I understood his hesitation completely, but I asked him to trust the logic, to trust the anatomy, and to just try this one simple, inexpensive thing consistently. He agreed. He went home and started this exact routine every single night before he went to sleep. A few weeks later, he came back for his follow-up appointment, and honestly, he looked like a different man. It wasn't just what he said, it was how he carried himself. He had confidence, a light in his eyes that had been completely absent during our first meeting. He explained to me, with this tone of genuine, happy disbelief in his voice, how this simple habit, a single bottle of castor oil that cost him less than $20, had given him a renewed sense of vitality and confidence that hundreds of dollars in fancy, high-tech supplements had utterly failed to provide. For him, the revelation was realizing that by addressing the root issue directly at the source, instead of just swallowing a pill and hoping it would magically find its way to the problem, he finally got the results he had been searching for all along. It was that combination of simplicity, consistency, and a targeted, science-backed approach that finally made all the difference in the world for him. And it's the very same strategy that I believe could make a world of difference for you too. Okay, so now that you know the what and the where, the next logical question, and frankly the most important one, is why? Why castor oil? What is actually happening on a biological level when you apply this specific oil to that specific spot? This is where things get truly fascinating. This is the science that explains why this simple method can be so profoundly supportive for your intimate health. Let's start by introducing the star of the show, the magic ingredient, if you will. The primary reason castor oil is so unique is because of a very special fatty acid that makes up about 90% of its composition. It's called ricinoleic acid. Now, don't let the name intimidate you. You don't need to memorize it. What you do need to know is that this isn't your average, everyday fatty acid. It possesses some truly remarkable therapeutic properties that have been studied for decades. But before we dive into what ricinoleic acid does, we have to address a very common mistake in how men think about erectile health. When performance issues arise, the immediate, almost universal assumption is that it's a blood flow problem, a plumbing problem. And while blood flow is, without a doubt, a massive piece of the puzzle, it is not the whole puzzle. Thinking it's only about blood flow is like thinking a traffic jam is only about the cars. You're missing the bigger picture. What about the roadblocks? What about the closed lanes? The hidden culprits, the roadblocks that I see in my urology practice every single day, are often far more subtle. They are things like chronic, low-grade inflammation and a sluggish, congested lymphatic system. These two factors can quietly sabotage your performance, even if you're doing everything else right. And this is precisely where the science of ricinoleic acid becomes so incredibly powerful. So let's break down exactly why this compound is so effective. There are a few key mechanisms of action happening here. First, and perhaps most importantly, is its powerful anti-inflammatory effect. We often think of inflammation as something acute and obvious, like a swollen ankle after an injury. But there's another kind of inflammation, a chronic, low-grade, almost invisible inflammation that can linger in tissues for years. Inside the delicate pelvic region, this kind of subtle inflammation can act like a slow-moving vice grip. It can constrict the tiny, delicate blood vessels, making it harder for them to expand and allow blood to rush in. It can also irritate and compromise the sensitive nerve endings that are crucial for arousal and sensation. This inflammation is a silent roadblock. So when you topically apply castor oil, the ricinoleic acid is absorbed and begins to exert its well-documented anti-inflammatory properties directly in that area. It helps to calm that chronic irritation, to soothe the tissues, and to essentially clear that roadblock, allowing for healthier, more natural function of both blood vessels and nerves. And this isn't just folk wisdom. The anti-inflammatory properties of ricinoleic acid are a known and established fact in the world of biochemistry. For example, a study published in the journal Mediators of Inflammation demonstrated how ricinoleic acid was able to significantly reduce both acute and chronic inflammatory responses in a clinical setting. While that study wasn't specifically on erectile health, it provides powerful evidence for the underlying mechanism. It proves that this key compound has a real, measurable biological effect on inflammation. To put this into a simple analogy, think of the blood vessels in your pelvic area like a multi-lane superhighway. A healthy erection requires a massive rush hour of traffic, a huge volume of blood flowing down that highway, fast. Now, imagine what happens when there are small accidents or construction zones littered all over that highway. That's inflammation. It closes lanes, slows everything down, and causes a traffic jam. The blood simply can't get to its destination efficiently. The ricinoleic acid acts like a road crew that comes in and clears away all those blockages, opening up all the lanes and allowing traffic to flow freely at full speed once again. The second key mechanism is lymphatic stimulation. Now, the lymphatic system is one of the most overlooked yet critical systems in the entire human body. I often tell my patients to think of their lymphatic system as their body's incredibly sophisticated internal waste disposal and drainage network. It's constantly working, clearing out metabolic waste, toxins, and excess fluid from your tissues. When that system becomes sluggish or congested in the pelvic area, which can happen due to a sedentary lifestyle, poor diet, or chronic inflammation, it leads to a buildup of waste products. This creates a toxic, stagnant environment that is the exact opposite of what you want for healthy cellular function. Castor oil, especially when combined with gentle massage, has been shown to help stimulate lymphatic flow. It encourages the drainage of these congested tissues, helping to detoxify the area and create a cleaner, healthier, and more vibrant environment for your blood vessels and nerves to operate in. It's like cleaning the filters in your body's engine so it can run more efficiently. Third, and this is the direct benefit everyone is looking for, is the potential for an enhanced localized blood flow. The ricinoleic acid, especially when combined with the gentle warmth and massage of the application, can help to relax the smooth muscles in the walls of the local blood vessels. When those blood vessels relax, they naturally widen. This is a process called vasodilation. And what is the incredible benefit of wider blood vessels? It directly promotes a significant increase in blood flow to the penile tissues. More blood flow means more oxygen, more nutrients, and most importantly, more nitric oxide delivery. As you may know, nitric oxide is the absolute fundamental signaling molecule required to achieve and maintain firmness. That's where the real magic happens. By creating the right conditions, you are supporting your body's natural ability to produce and utilize this crucial compound. And finally, all of these factors combine to support overall nerve health. When you reduce inflammation, improve circulation, and clear out lymphatic congestion, you are optimizing the entire environment in which your nerves operate. This can help to improve nerve sensitivity and function, both of which are essential components for a healthy, responsive, and enjoyable intimate experience. So when you take a step back and look at the whole picture, you can see how this science translates directly into the real-world benefits that men like Robert, and likely you, are seeking. The potential for stronger, more reliable erections comes from clearing those inflammatory roadblocks and boosting blood flow. The possibility of enhanced sensation and sensitivity comes from creating a healthier environment for your nerves to thrive, and the renewed sense of confidence. Well, that comes from feeling like your body is finally working with you again, not against you. This is exactly why Robert's transformation wasn't just a fluke or a placebo effect. He wasn't just wishing himself better. He was actively, physically, and biochemically changing the environment in his own body. He was addressing the hidden root causes of the problem, the inflammation and congestion that no expensive pill was ever designed to target. By consistently applying this simple, science-backed remedy, he was giving his body the foundational support it needed to restore its own natural, healthy function. He was, in essence, becoming the solution himself, and that is a truly powerful thing. All right, we have now covered the what, the where, and the why. You understand the tool we are using, the precise location to apply it, and the fascinating science that explains its potential benefits. Now, we arrive at what is arguably the most critical section of this entire video, the how. This is not just a simple list of instructions. This is a detailed step-by-step safety protocol. As a urologist, my primary commitment is always to your health and well-being. And while this is a natural, supportive practice, you must approach it with care, precision, and respect for your own body. So I need your full attention here. We're going to break this down together, as if I were right there in the room with you, guiding you through the process. Let's begin with the most dangerous mistake a person can make when exploring natural remedies. It's the assumption that because something is natural, it means you can be careless with it. This is a serious pitfall. Thinking that natural means you can ignore the details is like thinking that because water is natural, you don't need to know how to swim before jumping into the deep end of a lake. Using the wrong type of oil, skipping crucial safety checks, or applying it incorrectly can, at best, render the entire practice ineffective. At worst, it can lead to skin irritation, discomfort, and a lot of unnecessary frustration. We are going to avoid all of that. We are going to do this the right way. So why is this safety protocol so paramount? There are a few key reasons. First, the skin in the perineal area, while highly absorbent, is also more sensitive than the skin on, say, your elbow. This means we must use only the purest possible product to avoid irritation. Second, as with any new substance you introduce to your body, we have to rule out the small possibility of an allergic reaction. This is a non-negotiable safety step. And third, precision in the application is key. We are targeting a very specific area of skin to achieve a therapeutic benefit, and we must be careful to avoid contact with the more sensitive mucous membranes nearby. The warnings and guidelines I am about to give you are not just my personal opinion. They are based on established medical best practices for topical applications. For instance, the warning I will give you about latex condoms is not a guess. It is based on a fundamental chemical principle. Oils can degrade the structural integrity of latex. This is a scientific fact. Following these steps isn't about being overly cautious. It's about being smart, informed, and in control of your own health journey. Here's a useful analogy. I want you to approach this practice not as a random health hack you saw online, but as a deliberate, caring act of self-care. Treat it with the same respect and precision you would if you were taking a prescribed medication. You would read the label carefully. You would take the correct dosage. You would follow the instructions exactly as your doctor told you. That is the mindset we need to bring to this practice to ensure you get all of the benefits, with none of the risks. So let's walk through the exact how-to, step by step. Step number 1, choose the right oil. This is the foundation of the entire process, and it is absolutely non-negotiable. I need you to listen very carefully to these 4 specific qualifications. The castor oil you use must be pure, organic, cold-pressed, and hexane-free. Let's quickly break down why each of these matters. Pure and organic ensure that the oil is free from pesticides, additives, or other unwanted chemicals that have no business being on sensitive skin. Cold pressed is a method of extraction that uses pressure instead of high heat, which preserves the delicate fatty acids and therapeutic compounds in the oil. High heat processing can destroy the very things that make the oil effective. And finally, hexane-free is critically important. Hexane is a chemical solvent that some companies use to extract more oil from the castor beans. It's a petroleum byproduct, and you absolutely do not want any residue of that being absorbed into your body. Please do not compromise on the quality of your oil. It is the single most important variable in this entire process. Step number 2. Perform a patch test. Your safety is my absolute priority, and this simple step is your personal insurance policy against any potential skin reaction. Before you ever apply the oil to the perineal area, you must first test it on a less sensitive part of your body. Take just a tiny amount of the oil, maybe 1 or 2 drops, and rub it into a small patch of skin on your inner forearm. Then, you wait. You must wait a full 24 hours to see if any redness, itching, or irritation develops. If, after 24 hours, your skin looks and feels completely normal, then you can proceed with confidence. Please, for your own comfort and peace of mind, I implore you, do not skip this simple, crucial precaution. Step number 3, the crucial safety warnings. These are the absolute rules of engagement. Please listen carefully. First, this is for external use only. I cannot stress this enough. Never, ever ingest castor oil unless specifically directed by your physician for a completely different purpose. And absolutely no application inside any body cavities. We are strictly and only talking about a topical, external application to the skin of the perineum. Second, avoid direct contact with the glans, which is the head of the penis, the urethra, or the anus itself. We are specifically targeting the skin of the perineum, not these more sensitive mucous membranes. This distinction is absolutely key to your comfort and safety. And third, a very important note for any man who is sexually active and uses protection. As I mentioned, castor oil can weaken and degrade latex condoms, potentially leading to breakage. This is a serious safety concern. If you rely on latex condoms for protection, you must either apply the oil well in advance of any sexual activity and wash the area thoroughly beforehand, or, to be completely safe, choose a non-latex condom, such as one made from polyurethane. Step number 4, frequency and consistency. Like any natural remedy, this is not a magic bullet. It is not a one-time fix. The benefits are cumulative and depend entirely on your consistency. I recommend that you start by applying the oil once daily, preferably in the evening as part of your winding down routine. Follow this routine for about 3 to 4 weeks. This gives your body ample time to adjust and respond. If your skin is tolerating it well and you are noticing positive changes, you may then consider increasing the frequency to twice daily, perhaps once in the morning and once in the evening. But the most important rule is to listen to your body, and above all, be consistent. And this brings me to the final and most encouraging point, the story and the synergy. The full, profound benefits of this practice are unlocked through consistent, safe practice. This is a marathon, not a sprint. One of my patients, after following this protocol to the letter for a month, told me something I'll never forget. He said, "Doctor, the biggest change wasn't just physical, it was mental. Knowing I was doing something safe, something consistent, something just for me every single night, it gave me back a sense of control over my own health." That is the real power here. And as your urologist, I must emphasize this point clearly. This natural practice is an amazing ally, a powerful tool to support your body's vitality. But it is never, ever a substitute for professional medical diagnosis or treatment. If you are experiencing erectile dysfunction that is persistent, severe, or causing you significant distress, it is always wise to speak with your urologist or your primary care doctor first. Furthermore, If you have any underlying medical conditions, especially things like heart disease, diabetes, prostate concerns, or known skin sensitivities, you must consult with your doctor to ensure that this method is appropriate and safe for your specific health profile. Your well-being is far too important to leave to chance. So there you have it. We've journeyed through a great deal of information together, and I want to take just a final moment to bring it all home, ensuring this knowledge transforms into real, tangible action in your life. And to quickly bring everything together, we've covered the what, the simple yet specific use of a high-quality castor oil on the perineum. We've explored the why, its profound science-backed power to help reduce underlying inflammation and support the healthy circulation that is so critical for men's vitality. And most importantly, we've detailed the how, the essential step-by-step safety protocol that ensures you can move forward with total confidence. But as I always say, knowledge without action is just entertainment. I don't want you to just feel informed. I want you to feel empowered. So here is your simple 3-step action plan, your vitality prescription for this week. First, your task for this week is to procure your tool. Sometime in the next day or two, purchase the right kind of castor oil. Remember those 4 non-negotiable keywords: pure, organic, cold-pressed, and hexane-free. Make that small, powerful investment in yourself. Second, your task for tomorrow, or the day you get the oil, is to perform your safety check. Conduct that simple 24-hour patch test on your forearm. This is your personal green light, the step that removes all doubt and allows you to proceed with peace of mind. And third, the day after your patch test is clear, you will officially begin the 7-day castor oil challenge. Commit to this 1-minute ritual every single evening. This isn't about finding extra time. It's about making a small, consistent choice to prioritize your own well-being. Now, I know there might be a voice of hesitation in the back of your mind. Perhaps it's a voice of skepticism, thinking, this all sounds just a little too simple to actually work, especially when so many other things have failed. If you're feeling that, I want you to remember the solid science we discussed today. Remember the logic of addressing the root cause, and remember Robert's story. The most profound solutions in health are often not the most complicated. They are the most consistent and the most targeted. Trust the process. This journey is about so much more than just physical performance. It's about reclaiming your confidence. It's about restoring your vitality. It is about nurturing and protecting the deep, intimate connection you share with your partner. That feeling of assurance, of being in sync with your own body is priceless. Don't let another day go by feeling like you are not in the driver's seat of your own health. Your future self is counting on the small, positive choices you make today. So if you are ready to take back control and begin this journey, I invite you to become a part of our community here at Vitality Health 101. First, take a moment to hit that subscribe button. By doing so, you'll be the first to know when we release new, doctor-backed strategies to empower your health. And second, to make a powerful commitment to yourself, go down to the comment section right now and write those 2 simple words, Day 1. This is more than just a comment. It is your public declaration that today is the day your journey to renewed vitality begins. I will be reading every one of those comments, and I am truly eager to support you and hear about your transformation. Thank you so much for investing wisely in your well-being today. In my next video, we will explore the 3 surprising foods that can have a dramatic impact on your circulation and stamina, so you definitely won't want to miss it. Until then, stay informed, stay strong, and own your health.